One that's actually becoming popular with us is drone operation, because it's a field that allows farm workers to stay in the field, but to upskill and use that training to do something. So if they have a family-owned farm or it's a small farm and you don't want to let it go or let it die off or sell the land, then we offer those types of things to help farmers to keep going. So I think that's the cool one that everybody, wants to learn more about.
So is that like to monitor like how the field is doing, or what is that?
Okay,
it sounds cool. I heard the word drone.
Right. So it is. Farm workers really kind of use it for overseeing crops.
Okay.
But they can also use it for feeding crops. So it's like
wild.
It's a couple of different ways that they can use it, but I think it saves them time and money. So I think exploring it now for more farmers that really want to make their farms sustainable, it's becoming more popular. But they need people that can actually do that drone operation piece.
This is Curtis Camponi with the Speak4MC podcast with the Southeast Director of Workforce and Career Services, Alexis Franks, who's going to talk with us about a field that we overlook sometimes, a population that plays a critical role in all of our lives, and especially at the dinner table. Alexis Franks, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. So we are in Raleigh.
Yes,
North
sir.
Carolina. I said it right for the first time?
Yes.
Where are we? Let's start there to talk to us where we are. We're here for motivational interviewing, but where are we?
So North Carolina is one of the home states for Telamon Corporation. So you're right in our backyard. We're right down the street, our headquarters.
Okay.
But we have like 10 field offices throughout the state that help migrant and seasonal farm workers. But you're right in the middle of everything. So we're glad to be here at the NC Works Career Center. This is one of our biggest partners in the state. And for all of our states, all of our employment centers are the big partners for us. So they've allowed us to be guests in their home, and we're glad to be here with you today.
Okay, so we're guests at NC Works.
Yes. Yeah.
You said you work for Telamon
Yes.
Corporation. For the audience, tell us what that is. Actually, let's start with who you are first, and then tell us about Telamon.
Okay, so my name is Alexis Franks again. I'm the Southeast Director of Workforce and Career Services for Telemon. So I oversee our National Farm Worker Jobs programs in North and South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. And Telamon Corporation has really been around for about 55 years now. And we provided services to migrant and seasonal farm workers and their families for a very long time. So this program has been in North Carolina at least 30 years.
Wow.
So some of our most seasoned staff have been here longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
But they have been doing this work for a very long time. We've got 3 areas of focus for Telamon. So we also have an early child care, early Head Start program, and housing and financial empowerment.
Okay.
So between those 3 areas, our focus is really impacting the family wherever we are.
So tell us a little bit more about the population you serve, and why did Telamon decide to help this specific population?
So I really think in workforce development, it's one of those populations we don't talk a lot about, but migrant and seasonal farm workers are such a big part of not just North Carolina, but a lot of southeastern states and states in general. We know that most of the crops that we get our food from on a daily basis, they have to be manned and managed and owned by someone that's in agricultural work.
Okay.
So really our start for Telamon Corporation was how we can serve and advocate for those families and their rights. So where that started, we've kind of grown into offering services for any family that we can impact. But our focus and our passion is still about the agricultural worker and the work that they do. They've got a strong work ethic as a population. And they, it's hard work being out in the fields in the summertime and 100-degree weather with long sleeve shirts on so you don't mess up your skin from pesticide.
Wow.
Those things are what they deal with on a daily basis. And they needed someone, that group needed someone to advocate for them and their rights and what they should be allowed to do and being safe in the fields. I always tell everybody it's amazing to me. My first conference with this organization, they talked about the young kids that are there. So the youngest that they found in North Carolina was 2 in the field on their mom's back in the hot heat during the summer. Wow. So, there is a need for our services in the community.
Wow. So this is somewhat of an overlooked population. You feel that Telamon is helping shed a little light on, some support on.
Absolutely. Wow. And we're glad to do the work.
Yeah. So what makes someone decide to work in this particular field? Like what is your why? Because I travel to a lot of centers, and this is the first time I've heard this population with an emphasis placed on it, which is amazing. How did you find yourself in this field, and why Telamon?
So honestly, when I took the role, I didn't know as much really about the population as I do now, of course. But my biggest reason for coming was for the opportunity to grow in workforce development. But once I got in, the more important thing was the passion for the people that we serve from everyone in the organization. There's not one person that doesn't care about how they're affecting an agricultural worker, about the housing circumstances that they live in on the farm, how they're treated by their crew leader, by their contract if they're here under contract. So for me, it wasn't really the reason that brought me here, but the reason that keeps me here is the population we serve.
Gotcha. So let's talk about that then. I'm sure not everything goes according to plan. There's always tough days. So elaborate a little bit more on what keeps you here. What gives you the feeling that you're making a difference?
So there's about 25 individuals, a couple of rooms over from us, and those are the people that really keep me here.
Yeah.
And the team that goes out into the field every single day and looks for farm workers that they can help, or they look for places where people might not be adequately trained to be safe in the field. Those team members, they do the work. I'm here to help and support them, but the way that I do that is being engaged in what they are doing for the customers every single day and finding a way to say yes to those customers. And that's really what keeps me here. Their passion is strong and contagious every single day. And I always love workforce development since I learned what it was.
Yeah.
But focusing on this population really gave me the opportunity to learn something new. And it's different challenges and barriers that this population faces. But I think it's finding that way to inspire and change and motivate that really keeps me here.
Yeah. So obviously, anytime you can provide support and help to a specific population to help them change and grow and be able to look past today, there's always value in that. What about the potential benefits of a program like this outside of just the individual? Can you talk about, for someone who might be watching and say, okay, I'm glad you're helping, but what does this mean to the bigger picture? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Right. So I think for the bigger picture, is seeing how this population fits into an ecosystem of workforce development. And we know that there's employers that have a need every single day for skilled and trained workers. And some of the things that employers say is that their employees need soft skills. They don't have the work ethic. They don't have the drive. Well, we're dealing with a population that has all of those things, and they're willing to do it for 25 cents a bucket of blueberries. And it's just changing that mindset of saying, yes, I can do this and I can do more. I can do more on the field or off the field, and putting them in the right space in front of an employer that gets 100 resumes a day to say, yes, this is the person you want to give a chance to. This is the person that's really going to make it worth your while and be a benefit to the company and bring that strong motivation into the team.
Gotcha. Okay, so the migrant worker, you're coming in and saying, hey, there's other options and opportunities beyond this.
Yes.
Where you can earn a living and make way for yourself and your family, and you give them the tools to put them in a position to pursue those opportunities.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
And then from the potential business standpoint, it's we will train and ensure that they are, or at least put them in the best position to be successful within your company, in your organization.
Right.
And that's where the value potentially is to them as well.
Absolutely.
So what do you teach? What do you train? I know you said soft skills, but that might not be a term that people, understand.
Right.
So
right.
give us the overview a little bit of what you provide and the things you teach.
So for us, it really starts at the base, and the foundation is, if you're gonna stay on the field, that health and safety training piece,
Okay.
heat stress, worker protection, safety, that's where we start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about an hour and a half class that we go to farms and conduct that training. We have a number of team members that are certified and able to provide that training, and it's required by the state. So of course we want to be able to provide that service. Further than that, we partner with community colleges and universities throughout every state that we're in,
Okay.
to support tuition and books, supportive services, to pay for the training that the customer might be interested in. So a lot of ours, although we use and partner with our community colleges, we give that opportunity by paying that assistance for that customer.
So how do you find the individuals that take advantage of your services? How do you seek them out?
So we go exactly where they are,
Okay.
whether it's communities or stores. We have a number of partners that we work with that are instrumental in giving us referrals to individuals that can use our services too. But I think the biggest thing that I saw transitioning from a WIOA program and workforce development to this is that we really find the people. We don't just sit in the career center. And although we're there and we're available to assist, I think our focus is really going out to the stores, going out to the laundromats, going out to the fields and farms to find people where they are and let them know about the services that we can provide.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's say there's a family member or a friend that knows someone who works on a farm, and they hear this and they say, okay, this is pretty cool, right? This could maybe add some value. What do they do next?
So there's a couple of things that they can do. They can go to their nearest employment center or career center and ask for the National Farm Worker Jobs Program, and they'll send them right to us. If they're in North Carolina or South Carolina, any of our states, they'll send them right to us.
And how do they find their nearest employment or career center? What if they don't even know what that means? What does that mean? I guess break that down for us. What is a career center?
Sure. So the NC Works Career Center is just for North Carolina State. We're a chain of offices that provide workforce services. Okay. So a lot of people know us as the Unemployment Center.
Yeah.
But it's not just a focus on unemployment anymore. It's a focus on training and getting into jobs of your dreams. So, and it sounds cheesy, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
We're not just here for unemployment benefits anymore. So coming into a local career center, that can be as easy as, just asking a library or looking that information up online just to see where's my nearest. Even if you put in unemployment center, we'll still probably pop up a little bit. Okay. But honestly, it's word of mouth. It can be word of mouth as well. And of course, we have our own website, telamon.org, and that'll give you specific address and phone number for each of our locations throughout the state.
Gotcha. So the old way used to be go to the unemployment center when you don't have a job, and that's how you can collect unemployment. But now it's transitioning to, let's figure out how we can remove a little bit of the ceiling of what you can do. This is like a one-stop shop. Let's do big things. Let's be successful. Right. Let's make that happen. Mm-hmm. That's interesting, because then I think that takes a little bit of the stigma away too, because someone might not like the idea of being associated with, I just want free money or something. Right. This isn't just we're handing out free money. This is, let's get you in a career that your earning potential can increase and increase and increase. And then what about the cost associated to the person taking advantage of these services? What do they have to do on that end? So
of course, for our programs, we are federally funded through Department of Labor.
Okay.
So our services are completely free of charge, and that's why we encourage everyone possible, take advantage. This is a no cost service to you, but it does cost in time.
Yeah.
And we will ask for engagement. We'll ask you your thoughts, your ideas, what services you're looking for, what are you interested in, and it comes with assessments for each customer. So while there's no financial cost, there's definitely a time investment into training, and ultimately it's to benefit themselves too, and to get that next career opportunity.
Gotcha. Okay. So the taxpayers paying for the services that they'll potentially receive, with the idea being this is someone who's not only going to be employed now, but has the opportunity to increase their earning potential in the long run, which contributes back to the economy. You're helping people, you're helping everyone. Okay. Let's circle back on you for a second, if we can.
Okay, sure.
You could have picked any field in the world to work in. You could have did a million different things. I imagine some of the successes you see remind you that you made the right decision. So can you tell me a little bit about the successes that you have and what that means when you help someone change?
Absolutely. Most recently, the guy that always comes to my mind is Brian. He's one of the kids that we worked with in previous years. He came to us when he was 15, and he was in the process of beating cancer.
Wow. And
his family, his mom and dad were farm workers, so he was a first generation high school in the Americas and first generation college. But throughout his story and his journey, he stayed right along with us from high school through high school graduation to technical college, then went on to Delaware State and came back to North Carolina after finishing college and came back to us and said, hey, can you help me with a job? I'm done with college now.
What?
We helped him find a job, and he is up in Charlotte working as an engineer, making $70,000 a year.
He's an engineer now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kid is awesome, and his story is just so inspirational because he's really was for a while the only person that was getting assistance in the family because his family was undocumented. So he helped his family and supported them throughout all of those years of school, and now he has made his family so proud. His mom is like forever grateful because of the opportunities that have opened up for him.
That is incredible. What does it feel like when you reflect on that story, just for you personally?
That one's the one that I can never forget. Like, personally, I didn't have a hand in him. I've met him twice. I didn't have a hand in providing him services every single day. But to know that I had a hand in saying, this is what you should tell him next, or telling his career advisor, the case manager he was working with, why don't you offer him this option? I didn't speak to him personally, but I knew that there were some options that I could make available. And, just working as a team, we all ended up supporting him and his family. So I think even for me, even if I don't have that direct interaction with the customer, ultimately I'm supporting my team by telling them, yes, let's do it. Wow. Let's give this customer opportunity.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. He still maintains contact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. With his case manager, not me, but he absolutely
does. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So talk to me a little bit about eligibility. What qualifies someone to take advantage of your services? What doesn't? Like, how does all that work?
So for us, migrant and seasonal farm workers can be any agricultural industry. So shrimperies, nurseries are what we think of as farm work, being out in the field. All of that is eligible. But what some people don't think about is like meat processing. So anytime you're dealing with a raw product, like chicken, eggs, beef, cow, that kind of thing, that is counting as eligibility for us to be able to serve a customer. So that being 14 years of age or older, we do require documentation, so authorization to work in the United States. But those are the main pieces. And then, of course, we look at income, household income to verify eligibility as well on a case-by-case basis. But other than that, those are the biggest pieces. And I think for us is people don't really know what we consider ag work or what can actually work for our program is more than just physically being in the field. It's anytime you have your hands in with that raw product that makes a difference.
Okay. And give us a couple of the cool trainings that you all offer, and maybe the ones that if you say salaries to get people a little pumped up, or like some of the ones that are maybe most popular with?
So one that's actually becoming popular with us is drone operation, because it's a field that allows farm workers to stay in the field, but to upskill and use that training to do something. So if they have a family-owned farm, or it's a small farm and you don't want to let it go or let it die off or sell the land, then we offer those types of things to help farmers to keep going. So I think that's the cool one that everybody, wants to learn more about.
So is that like to monitor like how the field is doing, or what is that?
Okay,
it sounds cool. I heard the word drone.
Right. So it is. Farm workers really kind of use it for overseeing crops. Okay. But they can also use it for feeding crops. So it's like
that's wild.
It's a couple of different ways that they can use it, but I think it saves them time and money. So I think exploring it now for more farmers that really want to make their farms sustainable, it's becoming more popular, but they need people that can actually do that drone operation piece.
I love that, because that's like an outside of the box way to help maintain, like you say, your crops, your farm, that I don't think the average person would even think if it wasn't for someone like you bringing this up. Hey, this is an option. I definitely didn't think of it. I'm trying to picture it right now. Like, that seems pretty legit. Okay. Mm-hmm. How long does that type of training typically take compared to the other ones that you offer?
So usually that's a certification program, so it's about 1.5 to 2 years. Okay. And that's another good point too that you bring up. A lot of our trainings don't have to be a university 4-year commitment. We do work with a lot of technical colleges that will offer 1 to 2 year training, or 6 months or less. So we try to be flexible based on what the person's needs are and how quickly they need to go to work.
Okay, so is 6 months the shortest?
6 months is usually the shortest, about 4 to 6.
And then the longest is?
4 years.
4 years, okay. So when they come in then and are looking at these options, how much autonomy does a person have to say which direction they want to go?
So really our services are customer driven. So we always offer options if we see that there's something available or something that's in demand in the county that we're serving the person in. But it's 100% directed by the customer. If this is what you want, we want you to be engaged and be successful and enjoy what you do. So that training decision is ultimately up to them.
Gotcha. You seem like happy and excited to be doing the work that you're doing.
Yeah, I am. I enjoy it a lot.
What gets you through the more difficult days?
That's a tough one. But honestly, I think not making it about me and my struggle at work or what I have to deal with on a day-to-day, or the tasks, the to-do list, right? I look at the to-do list and I'm like, okay, here we go. But when I think about the other person on the end of that, am I helping a team member? Am I helping a customer? And that to me pulls me back into, okay, I have to be here. Not I want to be here. I have to be here. But that makes the biggest difference for me.
I like that. And then what about for those people watching? Kind of like a call to action. How can they get involved? How can they help? How can they contribute? Tell me a little bit about that.
So if you're a workforce development professional and you do not know about your local NFJP grantee, find that person.
Break that acronym down for me real quick.
National Farm Worker Jobs Program.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you don't know who that grantee is or that person is in your county or in your state, find that person and let them know you want to partner. We are here and we're here to provide services just for this population. So take advantage, of course. I would say to the customers or to those migrant and seasonal farm workers, don't be afraid to find us. We're here for you. We're here to support you. And to those businesses, the same. We're here to support you by giving you some quality skilled workers. So I think the message is the same, is pretty clear. Just find us. We're here and we want to help.
Gotcha. And then for the average person watching this, why should they be in favor of opportunities like this and the services you all provide?
to that, I just say, do you like to eat?
Okay.
If you like to eat, well, there's some work that goes into that. And I think we kind of take that for granted. Even I did take for granted how much work goes into in harsh weather or cold weather or hot weather, how much is being done and what sacrifices being made to make sure at the end of the day, our families have food on the table. And if you have that same appreciation, you'll appreciate the people that do that work.
Absolutely.
So I guess that's how I feel.
No, this is eye-opening for me because it's not that I intentionally overlooked that part of it. It's just a little out of sight, out of mind. So I hope that this also raised a little awareness for the people that were watching.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And then give me one more time websites or social media, any of that stuff you want to give so people can look into.
Yes. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Telamon Corporation, and our website is www.telamon.org, and it'll break down by state where we are, our addresses and phone numbers. So we look forward to seeing anybody soon.
I like it. And if they want to find you?
If they want to find me, Alexis Franks on LinkedIn and Facebook.
All right. Thank you, Alexis. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.